Bedard catches the puck up top. He'll bring it to center ice for Regina. Right side busting through the defense. Here he comes. Backhands it in front. Vallis scores! What a tic-tac-toe play there from Bedard to Howe to Vallis. And here comes Sam Arem on a partial breakaway trying to beat the defense. Loose puck. Armstrong scores! First career hat trick, Easton Armstrong. And it's a beauty. Off the far post and in. Bozil, now to Bedard, top of the left slot. Now changes spots. Mid slot, right side, one-timer! Scores! Alexander Suzdalev wins it in overtime. And the Regina Pats take it 6-5. What a shot by Susie. He rips it top corner, and that'll do it here in Kelowna.
Welcome to PatsCast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast, with your hosts, Chris Clark, Kevin Shaw. All right, Kevin, another busy show, but hey, things are looking up. That was quite the BC road trip, almost a historic road trip. They haven't done this well out west in a long time. Probably really since 14-15, they went 4-1 through BC, and they've only picked up 4 wins out west. The last time before that was 0-1-0-2 through the US. They went 4-0. So to go 4-1 and then tack on one in Edmonton for a 5-1 road trip, I don't think it could have been a much better trip at all. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, going into the trip, I was hoping for a 500 trip, and they proved me wrong. They proved a lot of people wrong. Other than one really bad blip and a couple other, I can't applaud them enough. They played really well.
Yeah, I think we both said it's got to be minimum 500, right?
Yeah.
If you can go 4-2, great. 5-1 even better, right? And
5-1 is unbelievable almost.
Yeah, right. So, but I mean, yeah, like you said, the blip in Kamloops, the Victoria one we discussed last week was not the greatest game, but I mean, we'll start right off the bat with Kelowna. I mean, that was a back and forth game. Officiating was interesting. I'm not going to say much more on that. It was interesting. I mean, it went both ways. Both teams had to deal with it. It's not like it was one-sided.
Paddock kind of said some stuff about the officiating, but
yeah, maybe it went a little against the Pats during regulation, but they got a power play in overtime. So
the power play in overtime, it evened out,
right? So you can't say too much, but I mean, unfortunately, it was a more well-established referee on one side, and then maybe a younger one, like you said, up and coming. But yeah, it was. But I mean, into the game, I mean, it was a back and forth game. It was a pretty good paced game.
It was exciting. It was actually a really exciting game. Like, the crowd was into it the whole time. You could hear the crowd in the background all the time. It was nice to hear an actual crowd.
Yeah, for sure.
Because here it's not that loud anymore. I don't know what's going on, but it's not.
Well,
it's not as observed, I guess.
Yeah, more reserved, yeah, for sure. But I mean, the teams out west, they've been hyping up these games. The Pats are rolling through. They've had very well attended games. Most were sellouts. In Edmonton today, it was over 8,000. That's the biggest crowd the Pats have had. So they were played in front of. So that's good to see, right?
Oh, for sure. Even though the place was only half full, it was loud. Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
The crowd was, but they didn't do the wave today.
Yeah, it was pointed out on the broadcast, like every game that
every game had the wave.
Yeah. So, but I mean, yeah, there's some nice goals. Tanner Howe, the first one, he made a great play to keep the puck in, and he finishes off. Pats get the lead, but then they give it up. The penalty kill wasn't great. They gave up some power play goals in Kelowna.
Yeah, Kelowna was 4 for 7. That's rough. But the Pats were 3 for 4.
Yeah, they responded. They got it done on the power play as well. I mean, with all the penalties, it was a power play game, right? And the Pats can score with the best of them on the power play. Well, we were just talking about before we came on here, Pats are second in the league in power play now, so it's rolling for sure. And then just a great the overtime goal, the power play just moves around, and Suzdalev, man, he's locked in over there in Howe's old spot there.
Oh, his one-timer is unbelievable.
Yeah.
He says he's a passer, a setup guy, but man, that kid can shoot. Doesn't shoot enough, but when he shoots, he shoots.
Yeah, he shoots to score. That's for sure. So, I mean, there's a fight in there, and it's some odd penalties. I mean, that Tanner Howe one, I swear it was off, deflected off a stick.
It looked like it went off a stick. Like, I don't know from the angle they showed.
From our angle, obviously, right? Yeah. And they didn't. Sometimes the refs will conference and say, "Hey, what did you see? What did you see?" And they didn't do any of that. So obviously,
the one ref skated up and did the little signal for delay a game. It's like, oh,
okay, so
no conference. Okay,
maybe from his angle, it was clear that it wasn't off a stick, so that's why there was no hesitation on the call. But I mean, to go down 5-on-3, or did that make it 5-on-3? Yeah, that did make it 5-on-3.
Yeah, that was the 5-on-3 because he took a 10 misconduct right after that.
Yeah, he probably got
right at that.
Yeah, he probably for making his thoughts known on the call. Yeah, so maybe it wasn't off a stick, and he was very vocal or whatever you want to say. Yeah. Obviously, we didn't see it or anything, but But I mean, they got the win.
Just like the fight. The broadcast cut away from the fight. Didn't even know that Armstrong had a fight.
Yeah,
Armstrong and McMillan fought. They announced it. No highlights. No anything. It's
nothing.
Like, oh, they fought.
There's the broadcast wasn't very good out of Kelowna. It wasn't good at all.
Every time there was a stoppage, they cut away to the score in like a long distance shot.
Yeah,
and you can see the highlight. You can see the highlight in the background on their jumbotron thing or whatever.
Okay,
you can see a highlight, or you can see the stuff moving. But
on the actual broadcast, yeah, I know. So I seen Armstrong getting into somebody. I'm like, and they cut away. I'm like, oh man, I wonder, was that a fight? Like, was that going to be a fight? And sure enough, it was a fight. Like, and then we had one listener message me. He's like, there was a fight. I'm like, yeah, it was right at the whistle, and they cut away. And
as soon as it happened,
yeah,
it's like, boop.
So it was like, missed that. But
But when they scored the tying goal, 6-on-3, they had their goalie pulled 6-on-3. Like, what are the odds of killing that off?
Pretty tough.
Probably 0.
Yeah, and there was a lot of chirping going back and forth. Like, there was a lot of chirping going back and forth after that goal, and I think there was some emotion definitely in that game.
Oh yeah, it started I think it reached its boiling point, almost. It was right to the level.
But like you said,
you can't really do anything about it nowadays. Like not like the 80s or early 90s when something happened, you had a questionable hit or whatever, everybody drop them.
Yeah, no doubt. But like you said, it was an exciting game. It was a fast-paced game. There's good skill on both sides. Like, Crystal showed up, like we mentioned. He's second in the league in scoring, and he showed up. And Bedard, he maybe had a quieter game, but he set up the game winner. So it's all that matters. Yep. Got the win.
He kept the streak alive.
Yeah.
Took 3 minutes and 7 seconds of extra time, but he kept it alive.
Yeah. Took him 63 minutes to pick up a point, but I think he's doesn't matter to him. I don't think if you'd asked him, he's just happy with the win. I would think.
Oh, when they scored that goal, you see the celebration. He was pretty jacked. I think it was for the streak and for the win. I think it was a duel.
I think it was definitely with both, but I think obviously getting the win there is I think.
But to score 5 goals and not have a point with Bedard, that's weird.
Definitely, right?
When he's in on like half or more of the goals, it's pretty wild.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a solid game. And then
except for the face-off dot, they were not good on the face-offs.
We got to touch on that because
that game they won 28 out of 81.
That's a third. It's like a third of the face-offs. And there's been a lot of games lately. I don't know if we've touched on it a lot, but a lot of games lately, the face-offs have been bad, real bad.
Yeah, like not even there's been face-offs where many of them don't even have a chance. It's just like it's gone, it's dropped, and it's other teams got the possession, like almost automatic.
Yeah, you look at it this week. Only PG they won more face-offs, 26-22. They even lost. They lost more than they won in against Edmonton here on Sunday night. like by significant. It was 35 for Edmonton, 23 for Regina. And you think, Edmonton's doesn't have that much skill, all that stuff, but man, they outworked the Pats at faceoffs. I mean, the numbers can be skewed. I mean, some of the numbers are kind of odd, but I mean, to lose that many more.
But when you watch the game and the other team gets control of the puck almost every faceoff, you're not doing very well in the faceoff dot.
No, definitely not. That's something they got to work on, like, significantly, I think. Then I guess you want to roll into Kamloops. That was
Sure.
interesting before the game even started. There's lots of fireworks in Kamloops. Well, I guess we'll touch on it after the fact. We'll kind of put our thoughts onto that. But yeah, there was some off-ice stuff with press conferences and such, and I don't know if that maybe affected the team a bit or not. But they struggled in Kamloops, that's for sure.
That was not a game I really want to talk about too much, other than the fact that Kamloops pretty much dominated from start to finish.
Yeah, definitely.
Except for the shots. Like, Regina, the Pats played okay in the first period. Like, they were in it in the first period. Third period, I think Kamloops backed off because they were up like 9-2 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And the Pats scored to make it interesting-ish. I guess 9-3 is better than 9-2, but that 7-goal second period for Kamloops it was nuts.
Yeah, that's an ugly number, 7, right?
It's like a snowball. You know when you roll a snowball and you put it on top of a hill, and you roll it down the hill and it just keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That's just kind of how it felt.
Yeah,
it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse.
Well, because they scored 3 in less than 5 minutes in the first half of the second, and then they scored another 3 in like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
like 11:58, 12:16, 12:27. That's rough, right?
Yeah. Oh man, that was rough.
Yeah, I mean, Svozil had a great chance. Like first shift wraparound, he had the wide open net, and he just tried to jam it in too quick. If he would have just taken another stride, another second, he had a goal. I don't think that changes the game or anything, but had
the momentum might have shifted a little bit.
Might have, right? Yeah.
Kamloops, you could tell Kamloops had something to prove, and
yeah, I think so.
They proved it. They were faster. They worked harder. Clearly scored more goals.
Yeah, right. I mean, it seems like the Pats that first shift has been pretty fruitful. Like, even not scoring every time, but man, they've had some chances.
Yeah.
Not to jump ahead to Edmonton, but man, there was a couple great chances the first shift on Sunday against Edmonton.
Yeah.
But it seems like we talked about before, Svozil, he's just got the confidence. Like he's second in the league now in assists and second in the league in defenseman scoring. Like, he had 2 4-point games, and then 2 against Edmonton here. Like, he's just rolling.
He's all over the place. Everywhere, every shift you see him out there. It's just in the offensive zone. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but I mean, this game showed there's some skill. Stankoven had a nice goal. Bedard had a couple nice goals. He may have had a down game against Kelowna. He was back on the board in a big way against Kamloops, but yeah, I mean, it was all for naught.
Stankoven, he controlled a lot of that game.
Yeah,
he was. I don't know if the Pats weren't chasing him or whatever it was, but they left him alone, and he only scored once, I think, and he had like 3 or 4 assists.
Yeah, he had the 1 goal. I just remember it being a really nice goal. And what do you have for assists? He had 3 assists. Yeah, 4 points. So, but yeah, I mean, that ended up just being one blip on the radar, right?
I kind of feel bad for keeper.
Yeah,
I don't know what's happened to him lately, but
I mean, yeah, he got shelled in Winnipeg, on the first part of this quote unquote road trip, on these away games here, and then the one in Kamloops. Yeah, not great. And he started in Victoria, did he not?
Yeah, Sim came in the third.
Yeah, that's right. So he gave up whatever in Victoria. So that's 3 games in a row for keeper now that have not been good.
Hopefully they can get him straightened out or figured out.
Yeah, because I mean, he looked solid to start the game or start the season. I mean,
yeah, it was really
now
that 51 save game in Brandon. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like you look at his last 3 games: 9 against Kamloops, 5 against Victoria, 9 against Winnipeg.
Yeah,
That's
it's not a very good confidence boost, but
no.
hopefully they can get him straightened out or figure it out.
Yeah, because he's only, other than those 2 games, he's only given up 4 in the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games he's played. He's only given up 4 twice.
Yeah, he's played well. Other
Yeah.
than this last little bit, all of a sudden something happened, and
Wow.
just kind of, like I said, the snowball rolling down the hill.
Yeah.
Getting momentum.
Winnipeg happened to him. I mean, Winnipeg's
Yeah.
good, right? And
Yeah.
maybe that just shook his confidence for whatever reason, or whatever's happened, it's happened. But I mean, on the other
I'm
hand,
not a goalie. I'm not a goalie coach,
No.
so I don't know what the situation is. But
yeah, I'm not even
I
gonna.
hope he can turn it around. That's all.
Exactly.
I'm just hoping he can turn it around.
But I
Sim's
mean-
playing lights out.
That's the other thing.
But-
Sim's playing well, so they can ride Sim here and kind of ease Keeper back into it, right? Like get him working on things, whatever they need to work on.
It's gonna be pretty hard this upcoming weekend.
I know.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, I know. 3-3, right? So, but yeah, so you leave Kamloops and all the
The
off
hoopla.
ice stuff, hoopla. There you go. That's the word. Yeah,
hoopla.
the hoopla of Kamloops, and then you roll into PG, and PG's, they've been, like we said, they've been strong lately. They're scoring goals, and you come out with a 5-1 win. Like that's, I was like, yeah, that's a great, great finish to the BC part of the road trip, right? You're
I was
4-1.
scared when Caden Brown scored that goal right away. Like what, minute and a half?
Yeah,
whatever.
minute and a half.
In. I was like, oh no, not again. But then Spencer scored that goal. Like what, 3 minutes later, whatever it was, 3.5 minutes later. I was like, okay, this is gonna be better. This is better.
Yeah, I think I missed that first goal. It was a 2-0. I missed it.
Yeah.
And yeah, they scored in the first shot, but again, I went back and watched it again, and yeah, 11 Svozil, another great chance in the first shift.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he was right in the slot, and he just missed the net or whatever. And then, but yeah, the Spencer goal, that was a great passing play by him, or with Janelle and Suzulev there. That's a nice little goal.
Yeah.
And then you get into this, then Howe scores, so you're leaving the period at 2-1, and then Bedard, 20 seconds in, just snipes one. Like, absolute rocket.
Yep.
And then, yeah, so you're up 3-1 already. And then Dubinsky, our old teammate there, kind of, he didn't run Sim, but he took a good chunk of Sim out when he cut across the front of the crease. He hit him
didn't
right in
know.
the head.
I didn't
Like-
know what they were gonna call. I had no idea.
Yeah, and I was like worried,
then-
like, oh, is Sim hurt? Like we just talked about Keeper, like, he's struggling. Like I know the game's 3-1, whatever time of the penalty that was early in the second.
Early in the second,
Yeah, 2 minutes into the second, so Pats had just scored to go up 3-1, and Dubinsky hits Sim pretty good, and you're just like, ooh, what's going to
I
happen?
was like,
here?
oh no, what's gonna happen? Like, if Sim is hurt, Keeper comes in. What do they do for an extra?
Yeah,
Do they fly Pine in, or do they get an e-bug or whatever? But
right, yeah. And then even just for that game, can we hold on to this game, and can Keeper, rebound and hold the team in, and they can get out of here with a win? But Sim stayed in, and he held down the fort. They only gave the 1 goal early, and that was it. And
they scored 5
Dubinsky,
unanswered.
yeah,
Just lost.
Dubinsky at 5 in a game. That, I don't know, that may be a little surprising, but
Yeah, I didn't expect a 5-minute major. I wouldn't
Yeah.
even know what they would like charging.
he had the puck. He went to the net.
He skated through the.
Yeah,
the
he's just
crease or
trying to.
whatever.
He tried to go across and tuck it in on the far side. I mean,
Yeah.
you see that play happen all the time, and the goalie
Yeah.
gets hit, and it's 2 minutes for goalie interference,
Yeah,
right? So it was a hockey play. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think there was malice there at all.
no,
But
definitely not. But it's how the referee sees it, I guess. It's
yeah, right. Like we
one
said,
of those things.
they make up their mind. They make a call. They're
It's-
sticking with it.
it's Just like the Howe delay game penalty.
Yeah.
in Kelowna there. So
So
it's too bad he didn't have a chance to finish out the game against his former team. But
Yeah.
who knows? There might have been some ill will there. Still, who knows what could have happened? Might have been fireworks, but
yeah,
that ended early.
definitely. Yeah.
But he's been lighting it up with Prince George. Still,
I think he's just scored again here Sunday night again.
He had 2 more points today.
Yeah, there you go. I know he had 1 goal, so for sure. But yeah, he's definitely solid. Solid pickup for PG. Yeah, he's only, I think since he's gotten there. Yeah, he's only not scored in 2 games, and obviously that one against Regina where he only played 22 minutes. But yeah, that's good for him. I mean, not that he struggled here. He did struggle a little bit at the start of the season, but
he needed to change the scenery.
I think it's helped him. Definitely, that's for sure. I mean, total, he's got 7 goals, 6 assists in 9 games. So that's good for him. I mean, and then heading off to Edmonton, you think, okay, I know it's the end of the road trip, but you should be able to get a win in Edmonton. And they had no problem. 6 goals in the first 2 periods, and then the third kind of, whatever. They gave up a couple. Would have been nice to maybe hold on.
Gave up a couple, scored a couple more.
Yeah. It would have been nice to hold on to a shutout for Sim, but I mean,
yeah,
like you said, a win's a win. No, they weren't shorthanded in the game at all. That was nice to see.
Yeah, 2 for 5, 0 for 0 on the penalty kill. So that's not a very common thing with the Pats, especially this era.
And we'd seen some fireworks against Edmonton here last game, and you've seen 2 fights in the first. I guess the one wasn't a fight, but you've seen 2 skirmishes, I guess you want to say. And I thought in the first period, and you're thinking, oh, like this could maybe get out of hand in the second and third, like because we seen Edmonton was not happy in the third period here. They thought maybe the Pats were running up the score or whatever they thought. They weren't happy, but it ended up not really being much at all. There was there was no whatever. I guess maybe they scored and Edmonton just said, okay, whatever, we're not gonna do something stupid.
Yeah, it is what it is. We have 4 wins or whatever. Yeah, they have 3 or 4 wins. It is what it is. Like, play hockey, try to get some points yourselves.
Yeah. So
the Pats in the third period, they definitely let back or didn't put the foot on the throat or whatever you want to say or anything like that. But
at 6-0, you don't have to be too worried. And I listened to the post game, and John said these games can lead to bad habits, but he's like, I don't think that's one of these games. No, it didn't happen in this game. He said, it didn't seem to, he was pretty happy with the whole game as a whole. So
yeah,
it's good to hear.
Yeah, another face-off tour game.
Yeah, yeah. But that's, I mean, with Connor going to juniors now, so how's clearly they've said it. Well, Dante said it that he's going to be the guy in the middle on the top line, and then Suzalev's going to move up now, and then I guess we'll see if he does go to juniors or not. Either way, Howe's going to be in the middle of Vallis and Suzalev, and
Howe went 7 for 7 today. So
yeah, right. So he obviously he's working on it, and see what happens. Right, like that's the thing. Like the team's got some nice momentum, and then you lose Connor. Like that's disappointing.
That's the worst thing about the World Juniors teams. Not just the Pats. Teams lose their top guys.
Yeah, everybody.
Like Kamloops is losing Stankoven, I'm guaranteeing.
Yeah,
we're losing Bedard. We're going to lose Fosel. The Pats, and like every team is going to lose their best players. So
yeah,
as long as they're not 20.
Yeah, right. So that's the thing. The Pats, they haven't really gone on a stretch like this 4-1, 5-1 yet at all in the season. And here they do it on the road trip, and then December. It's December now, so you lose Bedard for sure. You're going to lose Svozil eventually. And it's just like, oh, they're playing so well together. Like, you've seen the passing play, Bedard to Howe to Vallis on the one goal.
The tic-tac-toe one.
Wild. Was that was this, whatever, I don't know, the 5th, 6th goal.
Yeah, but, 6th goal.
That's a nice play, right? And you're going to lose that for the next month, 12-plus games.
Yeah,
whatever it is, right?
Dante says 10 to 12, but we calculated it. We figured it's going to be 12 games.
12,
for sure.
Yeah.
We were talking about that a while ago, and I think we figured out it'll be 12.
Yeah, so that's
That's
the only unfortunate part here, right? The team
That's two key losses. Bedard
Yeah.
disposal.
yeah,
And
sure.
if Suzdalev ends up going to Sweden for their camp or whatever, that could be big trouble.
yeah. Definitely so. Yeah, I know that's so disappointing, but what can you do? It happens.
Happens to everybody.
Yeah. Right. So, all right. Anything else you have to say about the games on that road trip?
No, I think we got it covered.
Yeah. So I guess we can touch on the whatever the hoopla in Kamloops. Like, so I guess you go back to even Winnipeg, the 2 games in Winnipeg. I can't remember the guy's name, but the Winnipeg Free Press, they released, their article, and it had John and Connor in it saying, yeah, we're not looking to trade him. Connor's like, yeah, no, I don't want to be traded. Putting out their public, message. And then it goes to Vancouver. And I don't even know if we even talked about it last week, but, John's like, oh, that's a stupid question. And people kind of got up in arms about it. And so 2 weeks in a row, he's addressed it publicly. And then
How many times can you answer the same question?
yeah, exactly. Right. So the frustration is kind of building up, and it sounds like the team had maybe mentioned to the next cities upcoming that, hey, we're not going to discuss this anymore. We've discussed it in the past. It's out there. It's public knowledge. Our thoughts on this subject. And I mean, the kid's 17. Just let him play hockey. Like, why do you have to pester the team with the question you're going to the answer to, right? Like,
Yeah,
don't understand it. And then so John, like, if you haven't seen the video, like, it's out there, but John kind of not lost it, but he was frustrated, and he took it out on this reporter. And I mean, you don't blame the guy, and the guy kept going at him, like,
just instead of leaving it alone, he just kept on picking.
Yeah, exactly.
Picked. It's like
he had an agenda, obviously, because it's not like he threw out a question and be like, oh, okay, right, and he walked away or took it as is. No, he kept at him, and I mean, good on John. I mean, he's been around it forever. He's been in the NHL. He's dealt with everything, and he just kind of laid into him. And I think it's good. Like, these people, like, they don't know the rules. Like, I mean, as the media, you should kind of have a little more knowledge and just have a little more.
I think if the Western Hockey League was a little more transparent with
that
what
too, maybe
this stuff is, like, there's no transparency. It's like,
that's true.
Okay, well, can we trade these guys? No, but we can trade these guys.
Maybe something changes that comes out of something positive that comes out of this, right?
I hope so, because it's man, that was a wild press conference or whatever, presser.
Whatever you want to call it. I mean, yeah, I know. It just seems, and then you just see other stuff. Everybody's got their opinion on the situation, and even Connor's play. Like, you just see some odd takes. I mean, I listened to 32 Thoughts from Jeff Merrick and Elliot Friedman, and even their ideas on this are kind of out of left field, kind of, I want to say, kind of wacky. That's for sure.
Oh, like, yeah, if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. It's just it's pretty wild.
It is, and I thought it was almost a comedy thing, or maybe
it almost didn't seem real. Like, to me, it didn't seem real.
It almost seems like it's some 2 dudes in their basements talking about this,
kind of like us.
It's kind of like us, but they're Jeff Merrick and Elliot Friedman, and their ideas are kind of out there. Like Friedman says they should trade him and do whatever the league should step in and do whatever it takes to move Bedard to Kamloops.
Yeah, make them trade Bedard. It's
like it's what? Crazy. And then he's like, just give them whatever they want. Give the Pats whatever they want. Give them a Memorial Cup. And then Merrick's like, they just had it like a couple years ago. Who cares? Friedman replies, give it to him again. Like, he's like this, just dumb. Like, I mean, go listen to the whole thing, because it's hilarious. It's kind of comedy, and I mean,
it's like 18 minutes of them talking about this stuff.
Know,
it's like,
right?
Are you serious?
It's just kind of crazy. This whole hoopla, like, it's wild. So, I mean, I expected more from them.
I've never seen anything like this over a 17-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like out in Ontario and like
McDavid and
McDavid and those guys, but
yeah, right.
I have never seen anything like this with the sellouts and then the media being dumb. I'm sorry, some of it was really dumb.
Yeah. Oh,
Like they
for
were
sure.
told, like the Pats. I'm sure that because the guy led off basically saying, "So why don't you guys want us to ask this question?"
Yeah, exactly.
Or
So obviously
maybe
there
it
was
might
some,
not have been him, but maybe it was another person. It was like, "Why
Yeah.
don't you want us to ask this question?" It's like because they've answered it 1,000 times.
and it's public knowledge, right?
It's-
Like it's out there.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
So
they're not trading him. That's what they say. They're not trading him. You gotta
Yeah,
believe
like-
it.
like what are they gonna do? Yeah, we're trading them to the highest bidder. Like, come on down. The doors are wide open. Like, or we're only gonna trade him to Kamloops, so we're just waiting on a good deal. They're not gonna say that, right? Like, it's so stupid. Right? And like I said, they've mentioned it, like he has a no trade clause. So it's not up to us. We can't trade him if we want to. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
so anyways, I think we'll leave it at that. I've said my piece and it's kind of annoying, right? It just
It is, but it's not over. It's not
I know.
January 10th yet, so
I
it's
know,
gonna
but-
happen again. So who's
but-
gonna ask him again? Like who's gonna
I know. Right.
get yelled at again?
at least maybe now with Connor not being with the team, maybe it settles down a bit, right?
Yeah.
It'll be off people's minds, right?
No, it
'Cause-
won't. No, it won't. Because when the Pats, like if the Pats all of a sudden, like this weekend, they lose 2 of the 3 or whatever, it's gonna be like we got to trade Bedard.
Yeah.
We, as in the Pats, have to trade Bedard. We have to. We have to. We have to.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, it's yeah.
it didn't seem crazy until they went out west, right? Like there wasn't any hoopla. They've been to all these cities here in the Eastern Conference. Nobody's really made a big fuss about it. I think maybe that Winnipeg one was like, we're putting this out there before we go out west because we kind of know what's coming.
Well, the,
you know-
the people out east here, though, they've known Paddock, they've known John for quite a while.
Yeah, they've dealt
So
with
they
him,
know they
right?
know what he's about. Like the media out there, they haven't seen the Pats in
3 years.
4 years almost. Like
Yeah.
2018 in
Since they've
BC,
been out there.
So
Yeah.
it's been 4 years. Bedard wasn't here 4 years ago, so
No.
lots of
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's wild.
it's wild. Like I can't get over. Like I still can't get over that 32 Thoughts podcast.
I know, right? Because they're well
Trade him
established.
10 things. Trade him a bunch of picks. Trade him this. Trade him this. It's like you realize they can only trade so many years. The kid's 17. He's got a no movement clause.
You can't trade
and
half
if-
a team, then how are you going to play, right? Like,
Exactly. If they give up 10 draft picks for a player, what are they going to do to get more players for their team? It's like
Yeah.
people don't think because
I
it's
know.
not like the NHL where they can trade multiple years down the road. I think they can only trade 3 years down the road here.
yeah, they limited, right? Like after
It's the Western
17,
Hockey
18.
League. It's the Western Hockey League, so who knows how many years? They don't tell you anymore. It's
Yeah.
no transparency. Maybe that's what they needed, is John having his stupid question moment. And maybe the Western Hockey League will step up and say, "Hey, okay, well, we're gonna tell you some stuff. We're gonna say this is how it is."
Yeah, it would be nice, right? Because there's so much stuff that's not secret, but it just isn't
It's
public
secret.
knowledge.
It's secret. They won't
Yeah.
tell. They did. They still haven't told us.
That's true,
It-
right? People, some knowledgeable people have some idea how it works, but it's not
And they're not even 100%
No.
for sure.
right.
It's just like the whole CHL import draft thing with the whole COVID. Like they were able to have 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever it was, but then now it's all of a sudden changed. It's just I don't know.
Yeah, it's all
If
over
they-
the map.
If they put a rule book out that actually had that stuff in it, so people would have a clue what they can do, or if there's like a trade freeze, they can't trade between certain dates. Why don't they put that out there? It just, it's frustrating.
Yeah. I guess okay. Moving on to some more positive notes. Connor again on topic, but player of the month. I mean, no surprise. 2 solid months for him. 2 players of the month. I mean, clearly, he's leading the league in scoring by a significant amount.
19 points.
points. Yeah. Like he's got 64. Crystal's got 45. Like that's a lot. He's leading goals, assists, obviously. But speaking of that, Svozil, second in assists and second in D-man scoring. like we said earlier. So I mean, he's having a great season. And then Suzulev, 11 power play goals, leading the league there. Like we said, that
Svozil,
one timer.
22 power play assists, leads the league. Bedard, 18, second.
Yeah. So, and like we said, they're second in scoring in goals for. Like, they've kind of come on strong lately. But unfortunately, goals against is fourth in the league.
Yeah, it's not good. But
it's not good.
Maybe they can get that toned down.
Yeah, get back home here for some games. And
I was just looking. Tanner Howe is tied for second in goals in the league with 18.
Oh, there you go.
He's tied with Crystal and Uchaz.
Nice.
That's
well.
He's fifth in the league in scoring.
He had points. A good road trip, right?
Yeah.
Other than that Kamloops game, it was they put up some goals, right?
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, I guess leading into next weekend here, like you said, it's going to be tough. 3 games. You go to PA, you're home to Calgary, and then you're off to Winnipeg for 5 o'clock start.
Yeah.
I know. So, I mean, you look at the 3-3, you're going to see both goalies. That's kind of the top subject here, other than Connor not being there. But yeah, like keeper's going to have to play one of these games for sure. So, like, do you look at Sim Friday, Sunday, and keeper at home Saturday? Split up Sim starts because you're going to need some solid goaltending on Sunday in Winnipeg. You don't want to hang keeper out to dry again.
But Winnipeg. You don't want to hang Sim out to dry either.
No, you don't. So what do you do, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
So it's going to be tough.
Who's Winnipeg potentially going to lose for the World Juniors?
Well, the Lambos, Geeky, and Savoy.
So they could be
down 3 guys,
and that's 3 key guys,
right? So maybe it's not as bad. That's a good point. I never even thought about who Winnipeg is losing.
I was just sitting here thinking, like, I wonder who they're going to lose because they're announcing it. I think tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, they're announcing the team. I think for Canada. So and then they leave.
I mean, those 3 guys will be gone for sure. Whether or not they make the team is another story.
But they won't be there for that game.
No, they will not be there for that game for sure.
That's what we're expecting anyway.
I would think, yeah. I think camp would run that first weekend for sure.
Yeah, because I think the camp on the 10th.
Saturday, okay.
Yeah, but I think they're announcing it. I just heard someone say Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah,
they're announcing it, and then they travel, and then they start camp on the 10th.
Yeah. So those 3, I think for sure. I don't know who else. Who else do you think would be gone?
Yeah, I think that's it. But I don't
think anybody else.
Who could they potentially lose? But I think Geeky, Savoy, and Lambos for sure on defense.
Yeah. So yeah, that makes it evens it up a little bit.
But it'll be a travel day and an afternoon game in Winnipeg.
Yeah, that's
where the Pats have not beaten the Ice in Winnipeg or as they're part of Winnipeg since they moved there. So
yeah, they haven't beaten in Winnipeg or at home.
Nice time.
Yeah,
it would be nice time to pick up a W finally because Swift Current beat them yesterday or Saturday or whatever it was. Saturday.
Yes, Swift Current, and then PA had them tied late.
Yeah,
on Saturday night, but they pulled it out. Winnipeg pulled it out.
So maybe there's a chance.
I mean, so you think about last year, right after Christmas, when the World Juniors, had started up like at the normal time before it got shut down. I mean, Connor was gone, and the Pats did beat Edmonton here. Because Edmonton, they were down Gunther, Neighbors, Kosa.
Yeah.
Did they have what's his name from Vancouver at that point?
Sort of.
They might not even had him at that point. That might not have been until the trade deadline. But either way, they were down some guys, and the Pats beat them here at home. Like I remember that game. So
yeah, is that 6-5?
Yeah, I mean they squeaked one out, right? So they got it done. I mean, Winnipeg's it's not. I don't want to say another beast because Edmonton was solid last year. They were really good.
Winnipeg is a different beast.
Yes,
they're small-ish, and they're
skilled.
Super fast. They got some guys that can just fly.
Yeah.
So even
And I mean-
even the guys that aren't like super point producer guys like Skylar Bruce and those guys, they can fly. Like they're so fast. It's gonna
So
be-
I mean, and like you said, the Pats haven't beat the Winnipeg Ice ever, so there's always that going too. So it's gonna be a tough
it's
game.
gonna happen one day.
Yeah, it's going to happen eventually here, but yeah, hopefully maybe
This
we'll
is,
see it
this
on
is a
Sunday.
rough weekend.
Yeah,
What a rough weekend though.
because you go to PA, that's a late night coming home, and you
Yeah.
got Calgary, and then you got to
And
get
then
up early to
Hop
go
on
to
the
Winnipeg.
hop on the bus and go to Winnipeg. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's 2 kind of longer trips in 3 days.
yeah, that's oh man, I can't
know.
believe they approved that schedule. The Pats approved that schedule.
I
Whoever
know it's been-
whoever represented them said it was good or whatever. I don't know.
I know it was brought up online, like, and maybe the person didn't know, but it was pointed out that the Pats do approve this because somebody was asking, like, is this schedule for real? Yeah, it is. I mean, they approved that 11 o'clock game in Calgary after Red Deer at night, right?
Yeah,
So, but yeah, I mean,
that was bad.
yeah, that was. I don't want to bring that. I shouldn't bring that one up again.
No, that
but-
was bad. Okay, we can stop talking about that one.
Yep. Anyways, all right. Yeah, we're getting a little long here. What do you got? Anything else for this week and going into next week?
No, I hope that they can pull out a couple W's this weekend, even without Connor. I'm assuming they'll still have Svozil on the blue line, so that'll help the power play and stuff. But
Yeah, and I mean,
get to
maybe
see who
Calgary's
steps up.
missing a guy. Even like
Yeah,
I can't think who's their 19/20 20s there. That
Fiddler Schultz is
Is he- yeah, like is he 19 or 20? I can't remember. Right?
He's a 20. Never mind.
He's a 20.
He's
Okay.
a 20. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they'd have anybody.
So
Maybe Seatman, probably not, but maybe because he has 23 points, 24 games on the blue line. So
yeah, right. So
these are the Friday Saturday games are games they have to win or at least get a point out of because
yeah,
PA's behind.
yeah,
Pats are
you got to
tied with
win that
Calgary.
first game,
Yeah,
right? You got to win that first game for sure.
Got to get the one against PA. But the Calgary, they're battling for they're both have 30 points. I know
Yeah.
Calgary's played a few less games, but these are games they got to win.
Definitely.
And Winnipeg, if they can pull off
a
a
point.
miracle W against
Yeah.
them or a point against them.
Yeah, because
Winnipeg's lost 2 of the last 3, so
there you go. But yeah,
But
it's going to be tough. It's not
yeah.
just Winnipeg; it's the whole schedule as well that plays
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. I don't know what Winnipeg plays this weekend, but it's maybe it's not looking favorable for the Pats, right? So here, that's Winnipeg. What do they got? Oh, so they got Friday,
Sunday.
Yeah, Friday at home, Sunday at home. So it's pretty easy schedule for them. Yeah, you got Spokane in Friday night, and yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be tough. But I guess one last thought I have, a good news story. It's nice to end on a good news story here. So for Brandon Wheaton Kings players, Jake Chason, Calder Anderson, Nolan Ritchie, and Ben Thornton actually stopped. They seen a man that seemed to be in some distress, and he admitted that he wanted to commit suicide, and he stopped, and they called for help and got the man some help. So if you want to check out the full story, check out the Brandon Wheaton Kings site or Perry Bergson from the Brandon Sun. It is, yeah, okay, Brandon Sun. I mean, he had a good story on them. I mean, so it's always nice to see some kids just stop. And they said by the time we stopped, there was hundreds of cars that drove by that didn't even think twice. So good for some junior kids, junior aged hockey players. Hockey players are getting some bad rap lately. Just good to see a good news story like that.
For sure. Can't agree more.
Yeah,
Can't
right.
agree more. When I saw it, I was like, wow,
Yeah,
good on you. Good on you.
definitely. That takes all sorts of things just to stop and say, hey, I think this guy needs some help. So that's good to see. There's still some nice people out in the world, right?
For sure.
Definitely. And I guess we'll end it right on that note. So I guess we'll finally see you back in the rink. It is Teddy Bear Toss. Better mention that Saturday night Teddy Bear Toss. So bring your bears, chuck them on the ice when the Pats score. And yeah, we'll see you at the rink.
Have a good one.